right, I think that the stream is pretty good. Pretty good. I think levels are set at the way they need to be. Okay. Let's go ahead and check the stream out, make sure that everything's running here as it should. We have good connection. Nice. Let's go ahead and pop out the chat so I can have that available. And I'm going to go ahead and close the screen, make sure that I have good connection. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Seems like everything is running as it should be, so let's go ahead and get to work. So let me go ahead and set my chat so it's always on top. Let me minimize my screen over here, and let's go ahead and get started. So as the stream indicates at the beginning, this is going to be demonstrating the copywork of Sonke Ahrens' book, How to Take Smart Notes, and it's essentially an overview of the note-taking technique by Nicholas Luhmann, called the Slipbox method or the Zettelkasten method. And wonderful book, really enjoying it. Just finished up the introduction here recently and beginning the second or the first chapter. And yeah, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm just adjusting the levels here a little bit. So the way that this operates is that on the Copywork, as you see, I try to copy as much as I can from memory, obviously, but if there are some words where I don't know the meaning, or I don't know the actual stroke, then I have my little dictionary pulled up over here that allows me to then look for the results. Okay, just set my levels here a little bit. There we go. Good, good. Should be all right. Okay. Oh, and come on. Where did my chat go? There it is. And always on top. Okay. So, like I said, this is the process. I have my Gregg shorthand set up so that I can see it in mirrored version because I write in mirrored. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show that. That way you can see exactly what I'm working with. So let me go ahead and go back over here, and I need to transform this back. So you will now see exactly what I'm writing, okay? Which is left-handed Gregg. It's mirrored Gregg, okay? Let's go ahead and minimize this, move this over. There we go. All right. And as you see, hopefully in the description below the video, let me check it out. In the description below the video, yes, you have access to the book by Sonke Ahrens. There's an Amazon affiliate link in case you're interested in the book. And there's also a link to the video, or the Gregg Shorthand Library, and then also some means of supporting me in case you are interested in doing so. Let's go ahead and get started. So, put this over here. And let's go ahead and continue. So I'm just beginning page 33, and the section here is the 4 underlying principles. Okay, so I just finished the first paragraph almost. Let's see, where was that? Number 5. So we were at ability to think. Where's ability to think critically? Understand other texts critically. By writing, represent a preceded performance, namely learning, understanding, and the ability to analyze other texts critically. Other texts critically. Let's see where that one was. Texts critically. There we go. Here's the next section. By writing, students demonstrate what they have learned. What they have learned. So here we go. What they have learned. There we go. So students demonstrate what they have learned and show their ability to think critically and develop ideas. Oh, and there we go. Make sure I'm saving as I go. See here. What they have learned and show their ability and show their ability to think critically. Now, critically is an interesting one. Critically is interesting because it's one of the short forms. I remember I just copied it, but I'll go ahead and look it up now. There's critically. It uses an analogous word ending. There's critically. Okay. To think critically and develop ideas. I think that's develop. That might be define. Develop, I think, includes an L at the end. Let's check it. Yeah, there we go. So there's develop. Think and develop ideas. This understanding is related to the idea. By writing, students demonstrate what they have learned and show their ability to think critically and develop ideas. This understanding is related. This understanding is related. What was related? There's related. Here we go. Is related to the idea. Is related to the idea. To the idea that students prepare for independent research. That students, I think this one is prepare. Let's see. That is prepare. Good. That students prepare for independent research. prepare for, and then independent. There's independent. The students prepare for independent research. And prepare is italicized, so we'll go ahead and indicate that with 2 slashes underneath. Okay? In this mindset, in this mind, and I know that's set, but let's see if they have that word or if I've added it. Mindset. Okay, so I did that one, and should they be disjointed? Mindset? I think so. I think I'm going to continue to keep them disjointed, just because it looks a little bit better, in my opinion. So there's mindset. In this mindset, the writing of a paper is just another skill. The writing of a paper is just that little S at the top. It's funny, it's you want to put a slight curve in the top, but not so much that it looks like that would be a U-hook. So we do it and then do a slight break is just. And I'm pretty sure I don't have is just in the lineup, so I'll go and write that down and add that later. And I don't. So let me just grab another note over here and write it down. There we go. And this is the word is just. There we go. By the way, how long have we been going so far? Let's see. About 12 minutes. All right, so let me just get a clock going here. And there we go. Good. So, suggest. Now that's suggest. Hold on, let's see what suggest is. That's suggestion. So if you just do an S at the top, is just, I think that should be able to maintain enough clarity. Because that's part of that's one of the things that you have to consider when you are doing brief, phrasing of brief forms, is you want your information to be as clear as possible. So is, and then is just. There we go. There's is just. Another skill. And let's check and make sure that is skill and it's not shortened. That's another nice thing about Gregg is that you can, if you forget some of the forms, it's purely phonetic. So you can always revert back to a pure phonetic description of the strokes, and then you have no worries about understanding the forms. So brief forms help you, but they're not absolutely essential to the learning. They just give you more speed. 1 second. Okay, back at it. So we were just on skill. And let's go ahead and continue. So where were we? We were on skill. It's just another skill to be learned. Skill to be learned. It's just another skill to be learned. It is, and then this word, compartmentalized. Compartmentalized. I'm sure that word is in there. Let's see, that's compartment. So we're going to have to add that word to the dictionary. But we're going to have to do a little bit of work as far as determining what sort of ending it's supposed to have. So if that's compartment, and then we want to look up and see if there are any sort of analogous word endings for lised. Lised, okay? So over here in the dictionary, we have compartment. So we know we have that first portion, compartment, and then let's look up lised. So we're just gonna make sure that we are in segment mode. Up here at the top, you see we're over in segment mode. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to type in lised, okay? And what this does is this gives me all of the different variations and forms for lised. So for instance, uncivilized, civil, and then ized. See that? Demoralized, demobilized. So the ized ending is just the diphthong, I, and then an S, which curves back around and then connects with the D. So like for instance, notice in semi-civilized and uncivilized, both instances, they have the S that is curving in the direction of writing. Remember, this is mirrored Gregg, so we don't really think about left and right hand or even clockwise and counterclockwise. When I'm giving descriptions, in order for it to work for other people, I talk about the beginning of the line and the end of the line. It's all about directionality, okay? So you see how in unutilized and demobilized, since those are L strokes, the S has to curve away from the origin of writing. And then since it's a V stroke here for semi-civilized and uncivilized, the S curves towards the beginning of the line of writing. So what that means for us, since we're dealing with compartmentalized, then we can do the first portion of the word and then add the ized ending. So let's go ahead and get compartment. Okay, there's compartment. And let's grab that here. So this is part, and then this one would be meant. And then what we have to do is we curve it up on the, let's see here. We curve on the bottom portion to do the A, like this. And then we curve down. Interesting. This one could curve either way, to be honest. Let's see here. Compartment. So if we curve it, so let's see, you normally put the S curving away from the line of writing, following an M stroke. Hold on, let me see. Let me think about this one. This isn't an R stroke, or it's not a backwards R. So I think what we need to do is like this. Compartmentalized. Yes, that one, that makes sense. Okay, so there's compartmentalized, and we will add that to the dictionary in just a little bit. Okay, go ahead and move this over here. So it is compartmentalized from the other tasks. From the other tasks. Let's check and see if that is correct. Task, and that is good. Excellent. So there's tasks. So let's go ahead and straighten this up just a little bit. Tasks. Let's see. It is compartmentalized from the other tasks. It is seen as one task among others. It is seen as one task among others. Students should not only learn to write papers. Students should not only learn to write papers, but also learn facts. But also learn facts. Be able to discuss their ideas in seminars. Be able to, and then discuss. Let's see what discuss is. Yep, to discuss. Now, let's go ahead and do to. To should be added to that. So to do that, you just do a little disjointed, ching, ching, like a little break in the line. To discuss their ideas in seminars. Make sure I'm not overriding their ideas. Yeah, the levels seem to be pretty good for the microphone. And I'm thinking, hopefully our sound levels are still good. I don't know. I'm seeing signal, so that's all that matters. Let's continue. To discuss their ideas. Their ideas. Where was that? They continue to discuss their ideas in seminars. Seminar is one term that I do not know. So let's go ahead and check that out in the dictionary. And there it is. Seminar. Use of, undo, whoa. And to move the mouse and ended up erasing everything. Let's go ahead and add another page after here. And then let's move back up through the line over to where we were. Okay. And this is seminars. And listen carefully to lectures. And I think that's listen. Let's go ahead and check it. Make sure. And there indeed is listen. Okay. Curves back a little bit more on the line. There's listen. Carefully. Carefully. Let's look up the word for carefully. So careful is there. Makes sense because care is just K-A. So carefully. To lectures. Lecture. Lectures. Check it out. Make sure that it's working. There it is. Lectures. Be able to listen carefully to lectures. Writing papers. Here we go. Writing papers is seen as a task in itself. Writing papers is seen as a task in itself. In itself. Oh, come on. Seen as a task in itself. That double S there. There we go. With a beginning and an end. With a beginning, and I think begin, BGN. Let's check that out, see. Yep, that's begin. Excellent. So we do want to go ahead and put the E in there. Well, that'd be begin. I think BGN probably will be good enough. You could do it either way. There's some flexibility here. And an end. And an end. Almost all books written on academic writing. Almost all books written on academic writing. Written on academic there's academic writing start from this assumption. So start. There we go. Start from from this. I'm going to go ahead and add from this to the dictionary. I'm sure it's not in there. Let me double check. And it's not, but I'm going to go ahead and add it because that is a useful phrase to have. From this has been added, so now we'll go ahead and move forward. So let's do from this. There we go. Almost all of them proceed is a task. Almost all books written on academic writing start from this assumption. So let's go ahead and look up the word for assumption. There's assumption. Really nice, easy phrase, isn't it? Assumption. Make sure that the S isn't too long. Otherwise, it can look a little bit like an F. Not really in this context, but still worth doing. All right, there's assumption. And that's a little, well, let's see. Assumption. That's just an M. There's no extra in sound in there, so what that means is that we don't need it to be that long. There's assumption. And that's the end of the sentence. Next column. Okay. And almost all of them proceed. And almost all of them, almost all. Almost all is a phrase that you see pretty often, so let's see what that would look like. This is almost. So. almost, all. So, so all, so all, all. How would you say that? That would be all, all. All. Yeah, there we go. That makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to the lineup as well. Okay, so there's almost all. Of them is another phrase. Proceed accordingly. So let's see if of them, and of them is in the lineup. Let's see here. And almost all of them proceed accordingly. Proceed. Let's look up proceed. There's proceed. Accordingly. Now, accordingly is accord, and then ingly. Let's see. Okay, so that's just the ingly at the end. And that's not one that I did, so that must be where I'm getting the idea. That sometimes it's necessary for a disjointed. Yes, when you have to leave out a lot of consonants, I think you do need to have that disjointed L. What was that? It was in the stream yesterday, I think we were going over that term. Whether to add an L, an ly ending with a disjointed E, or to have it connected. So here's another example of the same thing, where accord, ing, is the first portion, and then the li is added at the end. So, I'll have to give that some thought. But anyway, this is accordingly. And then describing. Let's look up describing. There's describe. And we should have room over here. Describing. It's a little too small, so it's all right. We'll just move it down to the next line. Here's describing. An idealized process. And describing. And then look up idealized. There's idealized. Disjointed T at the end. In certain consecutive steps. In certain consecutive. Ooh, consecutive. Let's look that one up. There's consecutive. Really interesting. That uses a ktiv ending. I'll have to see if I can remember that one. So that's consecutive. There we go. Consecutive in certain consecutive steps. And then that's the beginning of a new paragraph. First, the task to write is given. First, the task to write is given. Then there is the challenge. Then there is the challenge. What sort of, I think that's almost a full word, is full consonants. Yes, yeah, it's the full word. And go ahead and write that out here. Okay, there's challenge. Let's move it up just a little higher so we can get the full stroke in the mix. There we go. Oh, come on, let's do a little bit more of a curve here. There's challenge. To find a topic. So here, let's do to find. Oh, come on. Challenge. There we go. Oh, and I keep on. Funny thing is that in Zernal, if you're in the middle of writing and you accidentally press the undo button, it undoes the stroke that was previous. So here we go. Almost all books written in, and almost all of them proceed accordingly. First, the task to write is given. Then there is the challenge. There we go. To a halfway mark, so curve a little bit more. There we go. Then there is the challenge to find a topic. To find a topic or a specific angle on a problem. Or how much of specific do they want? Is that a brief form? Specific. There's specific. Okay. Almost there. Specific. Angle on a problem. Angle on a problem. That one would be angle? I think it might just be ang. If I do ang, that might be enough. But we'll check. Angle, angle. Okay, very interesting. So you can leave the G out, you have to have the L at the end. Makes sense. Otherwise it could be like angry. So ang. Make this just a little longer. Angle. Okay. On a problem. There's problem. Nope, that's not problem. There. Okay, so he wants us to also include the L. There we go. On a problem. The research to do. And then to do is a long stroke, or you can do the little break. The research to do, starting with the collection of the relevant literature. with the collection. Of the relevant. Let's look up of the relevant is the one we need to look up. There it is. Relevant. Literature. Literature is just lit. L-I-T. Followed by reading the material. And what I'll do is I'm just going to copy out the paragraph and then I'll go back and reread it. So that'll give us a chance to look at it in context. Followed by. No, that's too much phrasing going on. Followed by reading the material. Material is interesting because you take matter, which is just M-A-T, and then you just add an L, I'm pretty sure. Nope, they do want a slight, they want an E at the end. Matil. There's material. Processing it. And I think that's process. Let's check. That is very good. Okay. There's processing it and coming to a conclusion. And coming to a conclusion. That's an interesting one. I know it's going to be a K beginning. Conclusion. Oh, interesting. So it's like connect or connection. In fact, is there any difference? The only difference between conclusion and connection is connection has an E, conclusion does not. Okay, that's nice to know. So conclusion, like that. A conclusion, and coming to a conclusion. Writing is what follows. Writing is what. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have is what added to the dictionary because I'm pretty sure it's not in there. Yeah. So let's go ahead and add that. Okay. So is what. Do a little bit more of an exaggerated S turn. That way it's easy to see. Is what follows. Pretty sure that is follow and then follows. Excellent. All right. Writing is what follows. In the beginning stands the question to be answered. In the beginning stands the question. Let me check, make sure that is stands. That is. stands the, and then question, and that is question. Good. Stands the question to be answered. And then what? Stands the question to be answered, followed by an overview of the literature. Followed by an overview of the literature. Followed by an overview of the literature, the discussion of it, and the conclusion. The discussion of it and the conclusion. Didn't I already do conclusion? Yeah, conclusion. KL shun. I know I just did it. Yes, conclusion and connection, that's right. Followed by the conclusion. Followed by and the conclusion. This, according to the thinking, this according to the thinking, this according to the thinking prepares you for doing independent research. This according to the thinking prepares you for doing independent. I know I just did independent today, but we'll go ahead and... Yep. Ent P is the independent. For doing independent research. Alas, it does not. Alas, and then let's see, we need a little bit more space to do it does. It does not. It does not. Let's check the records to see if that is in there. I'm pretty sure it is. It does not. Yep, that's what it is. Okay. All right. That's the end of the sentence. If you become successful in your research, if you become successful, that's another one of those words that is really interesting. There's success, and then what is successful? that here. I need to have it in segment mode. Successful. If you become successful in your research, in your research, it was not because you learned to approach. It was not. It was not because oh, those S's, man. There we go. It was not because you learned to approach writing in this way. It was not because you learned it was not because you learned you learned to approach. Pretty sure that's approach. Yep. Because you learned to approach writing in this way, but despite it, to approach writing in this way, but despite it. Despite. Despite. There you go. But despite it. Good, and that's the end of the paragraph. So now let's go ahead and go back through, do a quick review to make sure that there were no problems with the form. So let's see here. First, the task to write. So let's see if we can find that. Oh, there we go. So you can see the beginning of the paragraph mark right here. Here we go. Let's grab our, let's first save the page. And then I'm going to grab the little laser pointer. First, the task to write is given. Then there is the challenge to find a topic or a special angle, or no, that's specific angle on a problem, the research, no, the relevant, no, the research to do, starting with the collection, and then going through the collection of the relevant literature, followed by reading the material, processing it, and coming to a conclusion. Writing is what follows. In the beginning stands the question to be answered, followed by an overview of the literature, followed by an overview of the literature, the discussion of the discussion of it, and the discussion of it, and the conclusion. This, according to the thinking, prepares you for doing independent research. Alas, it does not. If you become successful in the research, if you become successful in your research, it was not because you learned to approach writing in this way, but despite it. There we go. Not bad, not bad. Okay. So that's that first section. Let's continue. This book is based on another assumption. Let's grab the mouse. Let's put our pen back in place. Good. And this is a new paragraph, so we do a little arrow. This book is based on another assumption. This book is based on another assumption. I know I just did assumption here recently, but let's see if we can find it. There's assumption. Is based on another assumption. Studying does not. Make sure that studying is the correct one. Yep, that's study, and then studying is just adding to that. All right, studying does not. Now, does should be a little bit more in line with the actual term. There we go. Studying does not prepare students for independent research. Studying does not prepare students for independent research. It is independent research. It is independent research. Nobody starts from scratch. I think that's nobody. Check it. Oh, you need to have the little O hook at the top. Nobody starts from scratch. That's it. Yep, and that's one of the terms that I added. Nobody starts from scratch. And everybody is already, nobody starts from scratch, and everybody is already, and what is everybody? I think is it this one? I think it's that. EVBD, EVBO? Yes, good. And everybody is already able to think for themselves. Make sure that that's correct. That's it. They want it just a little longer, so we'll do that. Here we go. Themselves. And then here we go. Studying done properly. Studying done and properly. Is that just PRPR, I believe? Yes. And then the Lee is just an I and E at the ending. Okay, let's grab that. Studying done properly is research. Because it is about gaining insight. It is about gaining insight that cannot be anticipated. That cannot be anticipated. There's anticipated, so once again there's anti is the disjointed A prefix, and then cipated. There we go. Unanticipated, anticipated. Cannot be anticipated and will be shared. And will be. I don't know if and will be is added to the line. Oh, and will is not there. Neither is and will be. I'm going to go ahead and add both of those. And will. And will be. And will be shared within that's shad. Let's see if that's what they want for shared. Ah, it flips around. Of course, it's the backwards. It curves away from the line of writing because it's coming down. Shared. Within. Within the. Okay. scientific community. Let's go look up scientific. Scientific community. It's community. Okay, there's community. Community. Under public scrutiny. Under public scrutiny. I think that's probably going to be scrutiny, but we'll check it. That's it. Perfect. Scrutiny. There is no such thing as private knowledge in academia. There is no such thing. No such thing. Let me look up such. Oh, that's such. Okay. No such. So we have there we go. No such thing. See if I can do this. There we go. There's no such thing. And I'm going to go ahead and add that because I've seen that phrase a few times. No such thing. There is no such thing as private knowledge. There is no such thing as, I'm going to guess with private, it's going to be private. Let's check. Oh, it's even shorter, so you don't even include the ending. It's just pri. There is no such thing as private knowledge in academia. And oh, come on now. In academia. An idea kept private is as good an idea kept private is as good as one you never had. As one you never had. And a fact no one can reproduce is no fact at all. Oh, that's interesting. And a fact no one can reproduce is no fact at all. And a fact no one can, I need to do as one, no one. Is no one in there? I think I added it. Let's check. Nope, I need to add that one. Let's go ahead and add that to the lineup. How's the string going, by the way? I need to check it. Okay, looks to be all right. So I need to add no one to the lineup. Did I write that down? As one and no one are two that need to be added. Okay. What next? So what was that? It was and a fact no one can reproduce. Let's check out. Let's check out reproduce. There's reproduce. Can reproduce. There's reproduce. Yeah. Clean it up just a little bit. A fact that no one can reproduce is no fact at all. Is no fact at all. And let me check, is no. Isn't that the one I'm adding? No, let me check it. Go over here. Is no. Okay, perfect. So they've already have that. Is no fact. And then what about at all? At all is another, it's another stroke that they already have in the lineup, so that's nice. At all. Here's to your good health. Cheers. Is no fact at all. Making something public. Here's making. Making something public. Is that just P? I think that's just PB, right? Let's check it. Public. Yep, making something public. Making something public. Where was that? Always means to write it down. Making something public always means to write it down so it can be read. Making something public. Always. Always. What is always? I can't quite remember it. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, includes the L. Making something public. Always. There we go. Making something public always means to write it down so that it can be read. Always means to write it down, to write, and then, so it down, write it down, write it down, write it down. Let's see, would you to write it down? that's a phrase that that would be worth committing to the system and then learning. Write it down. Because that appears, especially in literature standpoints, that appears quite often, and in this book it will appear more often than not. So let's go ahead and modify this. Here's 2, and then here's write it. Now this is where it gets interesting, because you have to do a little jog in the line, and then there's down. Write it down. So it can be done fairly easily. Write it down. And I need to switch back. Wish I had a pen that was in between these two, but oh well. Here's write it down. Okay. Let's go ahead and I mean, right now that stroke looks ugly. Right now the stroke looks ugly because it's kind of new in the system. Write it down. Write it down. Yeah, that should work. So let me go ahead and add that to the list. How many have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Write it down. So there's always the constant flow of new information coming into the dictionary. Gotta feed the beast, right? Let's see here. Making something always means to write it down so it can be read. To write it down so it can be read. And I think so it is one of them that I'm adding, right? And I don't see so it. Let's go ahead and add that one. So it, and then I don't know if can be. Let me check and see if can be is in the lineup. It is, perfect. Can be. What's interesting is that they don't, the original strokes, they don't maintain the sharpness of the curve at the top, and part of that might be because in a digital sense it's easy to come to a stop, but if you were to do this in an analog sense, it would kind of curve over on its own. So I think that's what you do, is you just back around. So you go can be. There you go. So they can be read. Making something public always means to write it down so that it can be read. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. I get to use that phrase again. There is no such thing as that's funny. There is no such thing as a history of unwritten ideas. That's a good point. I mean, there is oral history, but that's a separate issue. There is no such thing as a history as history. That's an interesting fact. That's almost one that you'd have to challenge a little bit. As history. That's a fact that I think you could challenge if you were going to go into the area of oral history, or possibly of, remembered history by non-traditional means, but in some way that is recorded. So I can see why he's making that point. And obviously, in an academic sense, you have to write the ideas down. Okay. All right, so that was one paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to start at the beginning of the paragraph. So look for the previous arrow. There it is. So this marks the new paragraph, and we're just going to practice. We're going to read through. Let me get the little arrow or the little line marker. Here we go. This book is based on another assumption. Is based on another assumption. Studying does not prepare students for independent research. It is independent, and I think, yes, is needs to be underlined to show that it's italicized. It is independent research. Nobody starts from scratch, and everybody is already able to think for themselves. Studying done properly is research, because it is about gaining insight that cannot be anticipated, that cannot be anticipated, but will be shared within the scientific. Scientific. Boy, that's really big. That's scientific. I'm gonna have to change that. I don't quite like how large I made those strokes. That should be smaller, because it's tific. So those are two smaller strokes. So scientific. Yeah, there we go. We'll just make it a little smaller. The scientific community under public scrutiny. We shared scientific community under public scrutiny. There is no such thing as private information or private knowledge in academia. An idea completely? Is that completely? Kept private, that's kept. An idea, yeah, completely would have to include the E at the end. So an idea kept private is as good as one you never had. That's an FAK. Fact. That's fact. And a fact? I think? Let's see. I just have to confirm. Fact is not FAKT, right? Nope. It is FAK. And a fact, no one can reproduce is no fact at all. Making something public only is... Wait, no, that's not only. That's OMS. OMS means making something public almost, that's almost. Here we go, almost means to always. That's always. Is that an L? Oh, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. Come on, let's curve that down a little lower. Here we go. Always means to write it down. No wonder I couldn't make sense of that. See, that's why your lines have to be nice and clear. There we go. There's always. Always means to write it down so it can be... Hold on, let's get my little laser pointer back. Now, hopefully you guys can see the laser pointer as it goes. So let's see here. Write it down so it can be read. There is no such thing as history. There we go. Of unwritten ideas. Ooh, I missed the last part of the sentence. As a history of unwritten. There's unwritten. There we go. Unwritten ideas. All right. Okay, so we're at about the hour 30 mark, so we're about halfway there. I'm debating whether I think I'm going to split my time between copying the book, and I think for the next half of the stream, I'm actually going to have dictation exercise using Martin Lloyd-Jones. So what's interesting is, especially if you're speaking the text out loud as you're writing it, even though it's copied, it is in a way dictation exercise, because you're hearing the words and then you are writing the words. But sometimes it's good to work with just pure audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use an opportunity to take a look at Lloyd-Jones. In particular, his... So hold on, I'm going to pause the music here for a second. In particular, I'm going to look at his... Hold on, let's go to Martin Lloyd-Jones. Oh, if I could spell correctly. Martin Lloyd-Jones. Double L. Love that spelling. Martin Lloyd-Jones. So I'm going to read through... Let's go to his sermon library. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the book of Luke, the Gospels, the book of Acts, Great Biblical Doctrines. Does he do one on Luke? Newly found sermons. Let's go do a quick search and let's look up Luke. The reason for that is because our church is currently going through Luke 20, the last half of chapter Luke, or sorry, the last half of the book of Luke, and the later chapters. So I'm curious. I'd like to hear his opinion and sort of practice writing it down. I see a lot of Luke 16, show more results. Let's see if we have Luke 23. Oh, that would be interesting. Weep not, a sermon on weep not, from Luke 23, 27 through 31. Yeah, that's not quite what I'm looking for. Let me do a quick search and see what exactly we are going through, because we just finished. We are currently entering the Passion part of the story in Luke, and come on, waiting for it to load up. Come on. And I want to see the chapter. That's John. I'm looking for Luke. Let's go to Luke 22. The betrayal. Yeah, it's Luke 22, 47. Okay, so betrayal and arrest of Jesus would be the section that's 47 through 53. 47 through 53, Luke 22, 47 through 53. So let me go ahead and check and see if I can find it. That'd be great if I could. We'll go back. And yeah, obviously there's nothing in there. Luke 4:22, 8:22, 1 Samuel 22, Ephesians, Genesis 22, fall of man, Matthew 22, render unto Caesar. I mean, the Luke 23 looks pretty good. That would be an excellent sermon. I mean, anything of Lloyd Jones is worth it, is worth listening to, but maybe that Luke 23 would be good. Weep not. That one, yeah, that one looks pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and download the sermon. That way we can go back and forth and pause it and start it as we need. Okay? And then once it's opened...
The words to which I should like to call your attention are to be found in the portion of Scripture that we read at the beginning, namely in the Gospel of...
There we go. So let's go ahead and I'm going to have this pulled up because there's going to be lots of stopping and starting for this one. So there we go. Oh, can we do a view? I want mini player. Minimal interface. No, I don't want that. Oh, now I lost my interface. Boo. Can I change it back? Restore? No. Are you kidding? Ah. How can I change the view back? Display view, playlist view. Is it here? No, it's not there. That changes the names. Ah. How do I get out of minimal view? Oh boy. I'm currently in VLC Media Player and I'm trying to figure out how to change my view so that I can see my controls again. Where are my controls? Where are my controls? All right, I might have to do a Google search to say how to get the controls back. How to show controls VLC player. Hotkeys. Okay. Go to tools or press Control P. All right. Control P. That's not working. Under the interface tab, show controls in full screen mode. All right, so that's not working. Hotkeys. Control H. Oh, Control H does help. Oh, well, that's nice. All right, Control H, that set it up. All right, so let's now go ahead and change the view. We don't, I don't want minimal interface, and I don't want full screen. If I could just have like the mini player, that'd be great, but if I have to have the full player, that's fine too. All right, so I've got VLC pulled up here, and I can use that for scrubbing back and forth between the files. We're going to go ahead and have Gregg Shorthand pulled up again, but we're going to move it down. We're going to drop it so that it's a smaller screen so that I then have the ability to have... Oh, come on now. Let's see here. This then, my player needs to be up here. so that I can then access it. Come on, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Pull up Gregg Shorthand lookup, and I think my screen's all set, ready to go. So
The words to
there we go. So that's the Lloyd Jones sermon all ready to go. All right, I think I'm ready. I think I'm back at it. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see, what was it? Inkscape? No, I need Gregg. I need to go ahead and go to properties, and I don't need to show the cursor on that one. All right. I think, are we set now? I think I'm as set as I can be. All right, so I've got everything ready to go. Let's go ahead and pull up another a new page here on Zernal. Which reminds me, I probably need to drop a link in the video description to show where you can download Zernal. It's a fantastic note-taking app. I have been very, very pleased with it. It can be a little buggy, especially when you are working with large documents, but it's really good and has clear, crisp images, so I've been happy with it. All right, so let's go ahead and open. I need to open a new document here. Let's see here. We're going to do columned paper. All right, and we're going to save this document under. We'll save this under. We're going to make a new folder. We're going to call this MLJ for Martin Lloyd Jones, and the name we're going to give this is Think, Weep, Repent is the name of the sermon. And online, I think it was, did it give the sermon number? Yes, it's sermon number 5398. So we're going to do that. We're going to keep track of the numbers. So 5398, and then we're going to give it the keyword of MLJ, and then the sermon title itself, which is Think, Weep, Repent. Think, Weep, Repent. Sermon 5398, Martin Lloyd Jones, Think, Weep, Repent. And there we go. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and title my page here. This is page number 1. And I go over here. And now we get started. And I can already hear the first part of, or the first section of Lloyd Jones, which is the words to which I should like to draw your attention. He always does that, which is just beautiful. But let's go ahead and...
which I should like to call your... The words to which I should...
The words to which, so we go, the words to which I should like to, is it call? I think it's to call, right?
I'd like to call your attention.
Call your attention.
The words to which I should like to call your...
And I'll probably for this one, I need to make sure that I have the volume pulled up higher for you guys so that you can hear what he's saying. It's a little soft, so let's... In fact, I'm going to go ahead and play it and then look at the levels so you guys can are getting the same levels. Let's see here. Boom.
Attention to be found in the portion of Scripture that we have read at the beginning, namely in the Gospel according to St. Luke in chapter 23, reading again verses 27 to 31. Verses 27 to 31 in the 23rd chapter of the Gospel according to St. Luke.
There we go. All right, I think, hold on, let's do that again.
And there followed him a great company of people.
Yeah, that should work.
And of women which also bewailed and lamented him.
Okay.
But Jesus, turning unto them, said,
That seems to be pretty
Daughters of
good. It's a little
Jerusalem,
softer than what I
weep
use,
not for
than my
me,
speaking voice, but
but weep for
'cause I
yourselves
want
and
them.
for
I
your
want the levels
children.
to be about the same.
For behold, the days are coming in the which they shall say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never
Yeah,
bare, and the
-12 is
pits
about
which
good.
never gave suck.
So let's pull it back.
Then
Here
the
we go.
words to which I should like to call your attention are to be found in.
So here we go. The words to which. Hold on. Let's pull this out here again. And no, words is actually the other way. The words to which. Now, to which is, I don't think I have that in the dictionary. Let's check it. To which. Oh, look at that. They added it. I tell you, sometimes the Gregg dictionary is surprising, because what they chose to put in and what is not in there is puzzling, because I don't understand the rhyme or reason. But anyway, here we go. So to which I should like to call. And let's see, is that call? Yep, that's call. So I should like. So let's see here. So I'm gonna do to call is another one that I want to add. And what else? The words to which I should. I should, right? Because that's not in there, as far as I know. I should. Yeah, so like, look at that. Isn't that crazy? So you see on the Gregg, on if you take a look at the page, you see that this phrase, I should like to have, that phrase right here, I should like to have, is from, that's from the dictionary, or that's from the manual. I should like to have, that's 4 words, right? I should like to have. That's wild. And yet they don't have I should. It's like I said, it's really funny. And so that's why I have no qualms whatsoever about adding more strokes to the lineup. All right, I should like to call was the other one that I want to add. To call. And then to your, I think, is another one that I to your, in reply to your. See, so like there, for instance, in reply to your is 4 words in one stroke. So I want to add to your. To your attention. So that's to your tension. To tension. I would like to call to your attention. There we go. So let's go to your and then to your attention, because both of those are good. So to your, and then we want to do plus attention. Okay. I should like to call to your attention. And I think I'm ready to go back to the video.
The portion of scripture that we read at the beginning.
So I need to turn up the volume for myself now, so I can hear this. There we go. Boom, boom. Okay.
Namely, in the gospel according.
I should like to call to your attention. So let's do it again.
The words to which I should like to call your attention are.
The words to which I should like to call your attention. Your attention. Did he say to your attention?
To be found in the words
Words
to which
to
I should like to call your attention.
I should like to call your attention. I should like to call your attention. Okay? So to your attention and also your attention. So let's add that to the lineup. Your attention. Okay?
Now to be found in the portion.
Are to be found. So we have are to be found in the
Of scripture that we read at the beginning.
In the portion are to be found in the portion Porsche. There we go. In the portion of scripture. I think that's scripture. Oh, let's check it. Here we go. Okay, so it needs an E in the portion of scripture.
The words to which I should like to call your attention are to be found in the portion of scripture that we read at the
that we read that we read at the beginning,
namely in the gospel.
I'm going to drop a comma because it sounds like it was a slight pause. Namely, what?
According to
namely the gospel, namely the, come on now. Gospel? That might be a little bit too complex, but let's check it. No, that's not too complex at all. That is gospel. The Evangelion, the gospel. Here we go. Let's try it again. The gospel according, come on. There we go. According to St. Luke.
St. Luke in
According to Saint. So that's going to be Saint Luke. In the
chapter 23.
In chapter 23, not in the, so it's just in. In chapter 23 of
reading again verse
in chapter 23, comma, reading again
verses 20.
Reading again verses, let's see, verses. Oh, come on. Cancel. Here we go. Save this guy. And reading again versus there's verse. I just realized that you guys can't see the lookup. Well, that's no good. I need to update that part of the stream. Man, I'm glad that I checked that. Okay. Let's no. Oh no. You guys can't see it. My mistake. I'm sorry. Dun, dun, dun. Also, is there any description? Yeah, nothing. Okay. So let's get back to work. So we have chapter 23, reading again, and what was that? Reading again, verses. So let's go back to verses. Where's verses? Verse. There's verse. Where's my player for? There's VLC. All right, reading again, verses. So we have that here. Verses, and what verses were they?
7 to 31.
Verses 7 to 31. Verses 7 to 31. And is that a period or is that semicolon?
Verses 27 to 31.
Yep. Verses, so I'm going to drop that as a sentence and we're going to start a new sentence here. Verses 7 to 31.
In the 23rd chapter.
In the 23rd chapter. I like the way he does that, where he always does, the gospel according, or he'll give the name of the book, and then chapter, verse, and then he does it in reverse. He says verses 7 to 31 of chapter, what was that?
Of the gospel according to 31 in the 23rd chapter.
In the 23rd, so he does it in reverse. In the 23rd chapter of the gospel.
Of the gospel according
of the gospel. Oh, that's a little too extreme. According to up a little higher, to Saint Luke.
To St. Luke. And there followed him.
And then here's where the actual scripture starts, because you can hear his tempo changes and his he has more of a cadence when he starts to actually read the quotation. Okay, so cheers. And let's get started. And there followed him. That was the first one. And there followed him
A great company of people.
A great company of people. A great company. So I need to check first. Great. I'm sure that is great because I've used that quite often, but always good to confirm it. So there's a great company. A great company. Of people. There we go. A great company of people and
of women with
and of women and of women,
which also bewailed.
and of women also. Also. I think that's this one, isn't it? Yes. Also, and of women also.
Lamented him.
Bewailed. Bewailed. That's one I doubt that's in the dictionary. But let's oh, there's bewail. Okay, all right. Also bewailed and lamented. There's lamented. So let's add that. There you go. Bewailed and lamented.
But Jesus
Lamented him. But Jesus,
turning unto them said,
turning unto them, turning unto. I don't know if I have unto. I'm sure I do. Yes. Okay, so that's one that you don't curve. You simply do unto. Turning unto them, said,
daughters of Jerusalem,
daughters of Jerusalem. Can't. Daughters of Jerusalem. I think I know daughter. Let's see here. I think that's daughters. That looks right, but we'll check it. So, daughters of Jerusalem. There we go. Yep, and in order to make it a plural, you simply make the stroke, you change the circle into a loop. Daughters of, and then Jerusalem. Jerusalem. It's always a funny one. Daughters said, quote, and this is a single quote because we're already using double quotes. Daughters of Jerusalem. Salem. Jerusalem. It's not necessary to have the L and the M. Or it's not necessary to have the LEM. You can just do the LM because it kind of falls off. So daughters of Jerusalem. See that? So you can just use that much of the image in order to make sense of it. So then we drop the two strokes underneath to show that it's a proper noun. Daughters of Jerusalem.
weep not for me.
Weep not for me. Daughters of Jerusalem, comma. Weep not for me. Weep. That should be weep right there. Weep. Yeah. Weep not for me. That should do it. Weep not for me.
But weep for yourselves.
So for me is another term that I want to add to the lineup or the phraseology. So let's check that out. For me. And that's not in the lineup, so I definitely will add it. Weep not for me. But
And for
weep, but weep for yourselves. And let's see here, for you, for yourself, and then for yourselves. Yep. For your own, and this one, for yourselves, is another one. Yep. For is, it's so interesting. You really begin to understand the way that language works when you force yourself to work in this paradigm of simple strokes and brief forms. You begin to see the logical coherence of language, because you understand it in terms of linking and in terms of just general. It's a different way of dealing with the information. And is the sound running through, by the way? I wonder. Let me check it one more time. All right, I think everything is working as it should. Sound seems to be working. We're not getting any lags, which is great. So let's go ahead and get back to the flow of things. So what was that? I need to add for me, and I also need to add for yourselves. For yourselves. Okay, for yourselves. And what else? Weep not for me, but weep for yourselves. In fact, I need to double check that that is actually weep. And that's correct. Good, good, good. It doesn't have quite the curve over the top, but that's okay. It's close enough. Weep not for, but weep for yourselves.
your children.
And for your children. And for your children. Ooh, is that correct? Let's see here. And I do have enough room so I can pull it off. Children. That looks a little bit too extreme. I'll bet you that they've shortened that one. Yep, look at that. Look at that. So that is a very interesting stroke. So what they did is he took child, the form for child, and then did the DN stroke turned on its side. That's fascinating. I don't think I've seen that before, but that's really neat. So let's go ahead and follow suit. Children. Like that. Because you would think that that's a G stroke, but it's not. That's a DN stroke turned on its side. That's really clever. That is really clever. Children. Weep not for me, but weep for your children, for yourselves, and for your
For
children.
behold, the day
For behold, for behold, I think that's probably behold. I need to do a little bit of a deeper curve for the L. I'm starting to get a little lax in that area. For behold, there we go. Let's check behold. It curves underneath because hold is the one that takes precedence. So we go be hold. There we go. For behold. There we all right.
days are coming in the which they
For behold, the days are coming. The days are coming.
they shall say,
When they shall say, when they shall say, is shall is just the single, I think it's just an SH stroke. Let's go back over, check it out. When they shall say, that's right. Just checking this out here. Good. All right. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. When they shall say, when they, let me check and see if when they has been added. Nope. So I need to add when they. Shall say. The days are coming when they shall say.
Blessed are the barren.
Blessed are the barren. Blessed. Come on. A little cleaner up a stroke. There we go. Blessed are the barren. Blessed are the barren. And what else?
The wombs that never
Blessed are the barren.
and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in the which
For the days are coming into
they shall say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs.
Blessed are the barren and the wombs. I'm going to say that that's wombs, but let's go ahead and check it. Womb is not added. Okay, so I need to go ahead and make sure that I add that to the dictionary. And the womb? Womb is going to be And the ooms. And the wombs. Ooms. Ooms. Wombs. Wombs. Let's look up what would be an analogous. It would be warm. Maybe warm. Check that out. God's house warming. Warm. Warm. Womb. Maybe a double O. Cook goods. No. Woo. There we go. To woo someone. That's it. Wombs. There we go. So we take the analogous ending for WWO. What is double O? Woof, wool, wooer, wooed, wooded, wooed, wooded, wooden, woolen, woodland, woodsman. Okay, so that's, well, I found that. So let's go ahead and, so that's wombs. So I need to add womb, and it's an analogous ending to the word woo to get the same. So it's a double U hook. Good. And the wombs, let's go on.
That never bear, and the paps which
Let's see here. And the wombs that never bear. That never bear. And the paps that what?
which never gave suck.
And the paps which never gave suck. Which never gave suck.
Then shall
See if that's correct or not. So I need to go ahead and erase this one. Which never gave suck. Let's check and see if that word is in the lineup. Suck is not in there. There is seersucker. And it is, yeah, so that is the ending, which is good. So let me go ahead and add that to the lineup. Here we go. Which never gave suck. Going on.
they begin to say to the mountains, and for your children, for behold, the days are coming in the which they shall say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bear, and the paps which never gave suck. Then shall...
And that's the end of a sentence. For the days are coming when they shall say, and I'm pretty sure that that's the end of the quote, right? I'm going to say that that's the end, and we're going to go back to the words of Jesus. For the days are coming. Is that 4, right?
They begin to say...
Pull it back just a little bit if I can. 49.
Are the barren and the wombs that never bear, and the paps which never gave suck. Then shall they begin...
Then shall they. Then shall. Then shall they. Shall they. Shall they. Then shall they. Would that be a good phrase? Then shall they. No, because that's an older, that's more archaic. That's more of an archaic phrasing, then shall they. But shall they definitely is one that I do want to add. So let's go ahead and add that to the lineup. Then shall they
begin to say to the
then shall they begin to say begin, begin, begin to say then they shall begin to say. I don't know if I have to say in the lineup. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. To say, they curve it backwards. Able to say. To say. Wow. Okay. All right. Then they shall to say. Okay.
mountains.
They shall say to the mountains. Mountain. Oh, what was mountain? Mountain's is an interesting stroke. I mean, they're all interesting strokes, but M-N-T-N, M-N-T-N, okay. So we go mountain, there we go, to the mountains.
Fall on us.
Then they shall begin to say to the mountains, another quote, fall on us.
And to the hills.
Fall on us. And to the hills.
Cover us.
Cover us. And to the hills. Cover us. Cover us. Cover is an interesting one as well. Look that up. I'll bet you that's just cove, right? Yeah, cover. Cover us.
But if they do
But if they?
these things in a
But if they do. But if they do these things. But if they it wasn't if they one of them I'm going to add. To for me when they if they it was and will. No, that's one that I need to add. So let's add that here. If they. If they. But if they if they do these things, curve it a little bit more. Ah, come on. These things. If they do these things, that's another phrase that I want to add to the dictionary. These things. Oh, I'm so glad that I put this ability in here to be able to mirror the dictionary back and forth, because I I really do hope that this dictionary, which is in the description to this video, I hope that it proves useful to someone, because I really enjoy it. I love the flow. I'd love for other people to derive some value from it as well. All right, let's go back to copying the Dear Doctor, Martin Lloyd-Jones. So where were we? Do these things, if they do these things.
Green tree, what shall be done, which never gave suck?
Okay.
Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. But if they do these things in a green tree.
But if they do these things in a green tree, oh, that is an interesting phrase. In come on, there we go, curve. In a green tree. Interesting.
What shall be done?
What shall be done? What shall be? Now there's a phrase. So what shall be is a phrase that probably should be added. What shall be? Because that's actually quite common. That's a very common phrase. So let's do that. We need what shall be. And all three of those are brief forms. So it would be what shall be. What shall be. What shall be done. Yeah. I mean, and you could technically, it would be what shall be done. Now that's crazy. You could do all four of those words together. What shall be done? I think what shall be is enough of a phrase. That's already three words, and that kind of flows off the tongue, right? What shall be? And then done can be kept separate. What shall be done. All right? So I'm going to add that to the lineup. What shall be done?
In dry.
In the dry. What shall be done in the dry? Question mark.
I would like this morning.
Okay. What shall be done in the dry? And that is the end of the quote. So those are the final words of Jesus. Once again, I think he's going to continue to speak through it. But that was Luke chapter 22, verses, I don't know if it was verses 7 through 31. I think maybe he just pulled a particular section. I'd have to go back and listen again, but I mean, hold on, let's do a quick search. So he was using the King James Version, so let's go there. KJV. And we'll go to Bible Gateway. Or actually, let's do Official King James Bible Online, and we're looking up Luke chapter 22, and it was verse 7. No, it was 23. 23, verse 7. It's on the road to and they cried out, away with the man. 27. Okay, I misheard. 27 through 31. So it is Luke, it's 27, not verse 7. It's 27 through 31. Okay, I misheard. Well, that's good. I can go back and fix it. So there's 27 and 27, Luke 23, verses 27 through 31. All right? And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also... Hold on, let's see here. Where's that? Where's the quote? Where's the quote starting? There it is. And there followed him, a great company of people, comma, and of women, which also, I misheard that. I didn't hear that part of the phrase. Which also bewailed and lamented him. But Jesus turning, unto them said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for, let's go ahead and get the little pointer here, and for your children. For behold the days, are coming when they shall say, Blessed are the, when they shall say, now this is a quote within a quote. Blessed are they when they shall say, Blessed are they, are the barren and the wombs. Okay, that's a comma. There we go. Save it. And the wombs. Oh, bother. I think I just made a mistake here. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to have to restart this page. So let's go ahead and close down Zernal. It can be a little buggy. Like I said, it's a great piece of software, but it can be buggy every once in a while. So let's go ahead and pull it up again. Oh, what happened? There we go. And I need to make sure that those stay. Yeah, I need to reload Inkscape. Open selector, application window, and there we go. Let's share this one. Hit OK. All right, so can you guys see that? Yes, good. All right, let's go ahead and move this back over. And what was it? We need Zernal, and we need, there we go. So everything's pulled up. And let's, oh, that's interesting. I can't see. I couldn't see that I was moving this. Where? Must be really buggy right now. Huh. Yep. It's, there's problems with Lloyd Jones, or, I wonder, because it wasn't a problem until I was actually accessing the website, and I think what happens is that starts to use data, or it starts to use more CPU power. That's my only thought. So, I mean, hopefully this hasn't turned buggy on me. There we go. Let's go get it into position. And let's close this down. Now we just have the website up. Let's go ahead and re-establish connection. Open window and share. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's working correctly. Let's get back to work. About 27 minutes left. Okay. This is page 2, by the way, so let's go ahead and drop that here in the lineup. Save that. And then go back up here. Okay. So we have the dictionary pulled up, and I might have to pull him back just a little bit to catch that little phrase.
I would like this morning in
And so it would, I would, and that would be I would like, I would like to. That's actually one phrase. It's another phrase which would be really useful to have in the lineup is I would like to. I would like to. And let me go ahead and check that that is correct. All right, just checking. I was just checking the volume to make sure that it was working correctly, and it still is. So, hey, not too bad, not too bad. So I need to add that. I would like to. What shall be, and I would like to. Now the question is, do I need to have the I would like to? I would like to. Trying to think if I need to drop anything from the phrasing, but I think that looks good to me. So I would like or I would like to, both of those variants should be added. I would like, and then I would like to. Okay. We'll continue now.
other words to consider with you, done in the dry. I would like this morning in other
I would like this morning. Yeah, so like there, for instance, I misheard it. I would like this morning.
other words to consider with you,
I would like this morning.
done in the dry. I would like this morning, in other words,
In other words, I would like this morning in other words, in other words, in other, ooh, in other words, in other words, in other that almost, in other, aha, look at that, look at that. In other words has already been added. In other words. Yeah, because that's a common phrase. So we'll go ahead and just copy what they have. Lovely. In other words, I should like. Let's try this. It would be I should like. I should like.
to consider with you.
To consider. To consider. Is to consider. I should. I should like, yeah, like, so I should like to consider. Yeah, look at that. They already have I should like to know. I should like to know. I should like. So here we go. Do it backwards. It's I should like. Come on. I should like to, and then consider. There's to, and then consider. To consider.
You.
With you. With you.
What happened on that?
What happens? I should like to consider. To consider. Write that one down. To consider with you. What happens? With you is already in the lineup. What happened? So let's see, how would you do that? What happened? B. What happened? Yep. What happened? Good. Should like to consider with you. What happened? What happened?
Good Friday morning as
What happened Good Friday morning? Good Friday morning. Oh, okay, so you don't even need to have the D at the end, it's just fry. Good fry. Good Friday morning,
we now call it.
as we now call it. As we as we now call it.
So long ago in
As we now call it. So long ago. So long ago. So long ago.
that city of Jerusalem.
In that city. In that city of Jerusalem.
We are met together.
We are met together.
To consider that.
To consider.
We are, as it were, gathered.
We are, as it were. We are. We are. As it were. As it. As it were. As it were. I don't know if as it were is in there, but hold on. I need to make sure. We are. We are. Whom shall be. What else do I need to add? We are. I doubt we are is in there. Oh, no, it is. It is. I was wrong. Uh-huh. And that's pretty much it. Good. We are, and then as it were. Just confirm. Yeah, which were, as it were. So I'm gonna add this phrase, as it were. As it were. So we are is already in there, but as it were needs to be added. Okay. Going on. So as it were.
Together as the crowd was there, this great that we now call it, so long ago in that city of Jerusalem. We are met together to consider that. We are, as it were, gathered together as.
We are, as it were, gathered. I think that's gathered, right? Let's check. Yep. We are, as it were, gathered together.
The crowd was there. We now call it, so long ago in that city of Jerusalem. We are met together to consider that. We are, as it were, gathered together as the crowd was there.
We are, as it were, gathered together as the crowd. So as the I think that's crowd. Gonna need a little bit more of a curve for the. As the crowd. Ah, you don't need the D on the end, so it's just crow. As the crowd. Now, do I have as the? as it, as one, as the. I don't see it. Let's run over here, check it quickly. As the, perfect. Yep, it's already in the lineup. As the crowd.
This great company that we read of.
As the crowd. This. Great company. What is company? I can't remember it. This great company, and let's, yep, go ahead, look up. That's it. Company, comp. This great company. Okay.
Great company of people and of women gathered together as the crowd was there. This great company that we read of.
This great company that we read of. So you see, we read, I'm not necessarily going to add that one because that's not a phrase that you need that often, but like really common words like we are or we have, that those are the sorts of phrases that need to be added to the lineup where there's going to be more than just a few instances of its use. Okay, so we got we read of, that we read of.
Great company of people.
This great company of people
And of women.
and of women and of women
Following him.
following him.
And we are looking at him.
And we are looking, and we are, so like there, for instance, we are, and I'm pretty, we are is already in the dictionary, and we are looking,
And considering him.
and we are looking, and considering,
Him and what
we are looking and considering him
happened to him.
and what happened to him. And what happened. There's that. We can use the phrase again. And what happened to him. So same here. To him. To him is another one that we can add to the lineup. Let's check it and see if it's there. And it is. Now notice here that they cut the E out. So to him. Like that. Okay.
Now this incident reminds.
Now this incident, so he's starting a new thought. Now this, that's another phrase that we can add to the lineup if it's not already in the dictionary. Now this, let's check and see. And it's not there. Okay, so I need to check and make sure. Let's see if it's in the dictionary here. Compartmentalize. Now this, no one. Searching. I do not see now this, so I'm going to add now this to the dictionary. Okay. Now this reminds us. So now I need to go ahead and check just for remind, and I think that's just R. There we go. So it's just remind. So we can add it here. This reminds us. Need a little bit more of an S at the end. That's a little wimpy. This reminds us of what? Of what, dear doctor?
There is one
that there is.
Great question.
That there is. That there is. That there. Here's where it gets interesting. So if I do that there is, that would be really nice to do those two together. So what you have to do is you have to curve the TH back on itself. So we go that there. Oh, we have to remind us that there is. Yep, so you curve up and then out and then back around. So that there is. That there is. There we go. So let's add that. That there is. That there is what? What, dear doctor? That there is what?
Facing every one of us, therefore, that we read of, great company of people and of women following him. And we are looking at him and considering him and what happened to him. Now this incident reminds us that there is one great question.
That there is one great question.
Facing every one of us.
Facing every one of us. Facing every one. Every one of us. Every one of us. Let's look up every one. There we go. Very simple. Every one of us. That's of us. I don't know if of us is in the dictionary, so let's check. Of us. And it's not in the dictionary. So I need to go ahead and add it. Of us. Because that would be useful. Us. Us. Of us. Right? No, am I thinking correctly? Is that of us? What's us? Yeah, that's us. Thought so. Oi. Almost done with the first part of the stream. So let's see, of us. Every one of us. Okay.
Therefore, following him, and we're looking at him and considering him and what happened to him. Now, this incident reminds us that there is one great question facing every one of us, therefore.
Therefore. Therefore.
At this moment.
At this moment. At this moment. Momo. And what is moment? Oh, curves the... Oh, that's correct. That's moment. At this. Now, let me check to make sure. At this. So at this is not in the lineup. Am I going to add it? I should to call to your attention for me, for yourselves. So it to call compartmentalized at this. Boy, all these beautiful new words I get to add to the dictionary. And we got about 44 seconds left, so I'm going to go ahead and end my timer here. Close it down. And I'm going to call it there for this first part of the stream. So we've been going, what, 3 hours so far? Let's check. Yeah, 2 hours, 57 minutes. Very nice. Great, great. So, good. Good stuff in all. I think when I get back, I'm going to add... So I'm going to do a second part of the stream after I have a chance to get a little breakfast and kind of have a little recovery. So how many words do I have to add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. 35 words to add, and phrases to add to the dictionary. So, yeah, we'll call it there, and see you in a little bit. Adios.